for the pickup video this week. This week I traveled out to Decorah, Iowa on a business trip in the middle of the week. Didn't expect to really find anything out there in Iowa. It's out in the middle of nowhere. It's north of Waterloo, south of Rochester, Minnesota. It's a nice little town though. If you ever get a chance to go to Decorah, Iowa, it's a really neat little town. But luckily I did a Google search when I was up there Tuesday night, and lo and behold, I found a game store up there. It's a little game store, and it's called The Game Exchange. Really nice store to go to. There's a few retro items in there, a lot of movies. The owner of the place is very friendly, very nice. I'm going to do a Gamer Spots video on it that I'll be posting later on the channel, and I'll be writing an article for it for the new retro magazine if it happens. But I'm going to go ahead and write the article in case it does. If the magazine doesn't go through, then I'll put the article either on Gamer Spots, or maybe I'll start an Arcade USA blog or something like that and start putting articles in there on different things. I've been toying with that idea lately. I've also been toying with the idea of trying to get myself some t-shirts made up to wear when I go to shows and when I'm doing recordings for my Arcade USA show and things like that, instead of wearing these regular old t-shirts and things. That'd be kind of nice to have a shirt with my logo on it and everything. Be kind of cool. That's just me though. Anyway, let's get to the pickups. Enough chit chat. I picked up some more stuff for my Intellivision. I've been really enjoying. Thanks to Nermix for giving me some playing tips on Tron. I'm getting a lot better at playing Tron Deadly Disc now. He told me a lot of little tricks and secrets on that game I didn't realize. So, thanks to him and the Intellivisionaries podcast. Anyway, first one I picked up was Turbo. I got this in Decorah, Iowa at that game store I just talked about. I couldn't figure out how to play this game at first. I'm sitting there pushing the buttons on the side. Okay, it makes it go faster. And hit the other button, it makes it go slower. It's like, okay, how the heck do you steer this thing? I'm going left and right, left and right, left and right on the little disc thing. Nothing's happening. So then I found out if I just rotate my thumb around like a steering wheel, the car would steer back and forth. Now how freaking cool is that? They simulated a steering wheel with that little disc pad where you got to roll it back and forth to get the car to steer. I thought that was pretty freaking awesome. So I've been enjoying that game. Then I picked up one of my favorite arcade games. Well, I got a lot of favorite arcade games, duh. But this is a good arcade game. I'm going to do an Arcade USA on this if I ever find an actual cabinet to record. But it's called Ladybug. This game also I picked up there in Decorah, Iowa. Got some good prices on this. That game store had a whole bunch of boxed Intellivision games. He had one called Word Womper and Sewer Sam up there, complete in the box. They look brand new. I didn't pick them up. I was on a limited budget. I didn't expect to find things up there, so I didn't take a whole lot of money with me. But this is a great game, great little arcade game. It's kind of like a Pac-Man game, but what I like about it is you're able to move these doors around to change the mazes and everything. And then you spell out Ladybug, you get bonus points and stuff. So it's a really fun game on the Intellivision. Then I picked up Bump and Jump. Another game that I really, really like. It's actually quite well done on the Intellivision. Got it on my NES. I play it quite a bit on the NES, but this is pretty good also. So, pretty happy about picking it up. Then I picked up a couple games from my Atari 2600. These I also got up there at Decorah, Iowa. I picked up Poo Yen, which is an arcade game ported to the 2600. Basically, you're this little pig on a rope. And you're shooting these wolves that are trying to balloon themselves down to the bottom to run across the bottom of the screen and come up and get the piggies. It's a fun game. And it's pretty well ported to the Atari 2600. It's not bad at all. So, it's a good game. A lot of fun. Then I picked up from Data Age, Bermuda Triangle. Side-scrolling shoot-em-up game. You got a submarine. And you're shooting these UFOs and octopuses and sharks and other things under the water. You can only shoot one direction, as far as I know. I've been trying different combinations with the joystick to see if I can flip the sub around, and you can't. It only goes one direction. And then every once in a while you'll see things passing along the bottom where you got to get your sub down low enough, keep pulling down on the joystick to shoot out this beam to either beam up, I guess, fuel and other things off the ocean floor as you're playing the game. I don't know a whole lot about this game. I got to read some manuals or something like that. I'm real bad about picking up games, throw them in the machine, and just start playing them without really doing research on them. Oh well. Then I picked up a couple games from my Atari 7800. I got these over in Raleigh at the Trade It store. I picked up Tower Topler for the Atari 7800. It's a quirky little game, but it's kind of neat. I couldn't figure out how to play it at first, but once I figured out how you play it, it's actually not too bad. You're basically climbing up these towers. Got to avoid these different little critters or whatever they are. You got elevators you use. You go through these doors that pop out on the other side of the tower, and it's kind of like a pseudo 3D effect. It's a pretty enjoyable game. It was only $3, so I ain't complaining for $3. You know, it's cool. Then I picked up Crossbow for the Atari 7800, and I happened to notice when I pulled up the main screen, it asks you for either a light gun or a joystick. I was like, well. Did not know that the 7800 could use a light gun. Won't work on I imagine won't work on a LCD monitor, so I've got to have a CRT, so there's no use in getting a light gun for this game, because I know it's not going to work on my LCD screen. But at least I can use the joystick on it. And basically what you're doing is that you got your friends, like, you know, there's this woman and barbarian guy or knight or whatever, and they're walking across the screen. And you're trying to protect them from different critters and things falling from the ceiling and stuff like that by shooting at them. And it's kind of neat. It's not a bad little game. I'd like to see the arcade version of this game. I've never seen the arcade version of Crossbow. And I know the arcade over in Cincinnati I visited, the Place Retro Arcades, got one now. Carrie Cheney's arcade. So I'm trying to plan another trip to go back there. I'm going to try to talk to the arcade and maybe set up an evening where I'm there with my Arcade USA game cabinet and maybe have like a contest or a tournament or something like that to host an event there. I think that'd be kind of neat to do. Maybe I'll give out some t-shirts as a prize or something that I make up. I don't know. I'm just throwing those ideas around. But anyway, and then finally, I could never find my Soviet Strike, but I did find one out in Decorah, Iowa. So I replaced my Soviet Strike. Now that I bought this, I will probably find it now. And I'll have two. Oh well. I love the Strike game. So now this completes all my Strike series game. He had the PlayStation version of Nuclear Strike. I was going to pick it up, but I got it on my Nintendo 64 and figured, no, it's bad enough I've got some duplicate games that are on different systems. Mainly I like getting those to show gameplay on the different systems when I'm doing an Arcade USA episode. Like for Crazy Climber, I showed the Astrocade version of it, and not Astrocade, the Arcade 2001 version of it. Astrocade does have a version, it's a homebrew, which I couldn't find a ROM for or anything to try it out to show it on that episode, but they do have one for it. And, so happy to get this back in my collection again. Then I picked up a couple more games at the Trade It store. I thought this game was for my television when I picked it up. Picked up Gyrus. Thought it was for the television, and it didn't plug into my television, so I was like, what is this? So I got to looking around, and I found out that it's a Commodore 64 cartridge. Now, I can't show any gameplay of it because I don't have a Commodore 64. And I was too lazy to find an emulator just to show gameplay of it. So this one I'm taking with me out to California because my buddy SoCal Mike out there does not have this game in his collection. He's a Commodore 64 collector, cartridge collector. So I'm going to take this out to him because I'm going to visit him this coming week when I'm out in California on business. I'm also planning on going out on a hunting trip with them Wednesday night at a place up there. So I'm hoping we can hook up to do that. Minimum, I'm going to be hunting that to play. So if I find something, it's too bad for him. Then I picked up Space Dungeon for the Atari 5200. I normally won't pick up 5200 games, but this was only $1. I picked it up. I don't have a 5200. I don't want a 5200. I had one before, and those friggin' joysticks make me insane. I rebuilt the joysticks I had with some kits from Best Electronics, and it was okay. They worked really well after that, but I just can't get used to that analog control stick for games like Pac-Man and things like that. And this game, I believe, takes 2 of those frickin' joysticks to play. One for moving and one for shooting. A twin-stick shooter, so like Robotron. So I figure I'll probably send this to Ferg at the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast, because he got a 5200 donated to him. So I'll probably just send this to him to add to his collection for that. And then lastly, I picked up at the Trade-It store yesterday a non-working, it was $5, a non-working Intech LCD screen for the PlayStation 2. Fixed it. Got it working. This has, the multi-AV out, like to go to like a bigger screen or something. Then you have your composite inputs here, or you have an where'd it go? There it is. Or you have an S video input there, and you got to switch to select between the two. Now the gameplay you're seeing on the screen here, that's using the composite inputs, because I don't have an S video cable for my little PlayStation I'm using to show this thing running. But yeah, it works really good now. It has some really great sound. So not a bad deal for $5. I'm contemplating on using this for the Kaboom mini arcade projects. It has speakers built into it, and I got a screen already in there. I just got to see if I can get a cabinet to fit it, or maybe take this apart and put all the components into that iCade I need to get from my buddy SoCal to make into a Kaboom cabinet. I plan on hacking a Wii and using those Atari paddle controllers I modified to work on the Wii to play Kaboom with. So we have updated hardware. You can run the ROMs and still have the analog control to play Kaboom. So that's all the game pickups for this week. So hopefully I'll find some stuff in California next week, and I'll have some more stuff to talk about next weekend. So thanks for watching.